Aloha, I'm Miley Andrus-Price, and welcome to Finding God and Gourmet, where you discover recipes that inspire. Don't worry, the ingredients are available through Amazon, so let's get started. I have 12 ounces of tofu here. It's soft tofu. I wrapped it in 2 layers of paper towels. And I did this, it took an hour because I wrap it and then I squeeze it out. This is the 4th time that I've done this. Every 15 minutes I've been squeezing it out. That's still a lot of water in there. And then what I would do is I would rewrap it, use the same paper towels because you don't want to be wasteful. That's my grandma talking. And you can do it for another 15 minutes if you want, but I usually do it 4 times every 15 minutes to make an hour. And usually I have a spiritual aspect to a recipe. And today's aspect is, while I was making this, I was asking myself, what is this liquid that came out of the tofu? Because as always, our ingredients represent us, right? So here I am, here you are, this beautiful piece of tofu. And what liquid or things you have in yourself that you need to let go of? Some things that come to mind: anger, fear, frustration, tears. Sometimes we just need to let loose and let go of some of our tears to release the weight of what we can feel as a burden or something that no longer serves you. So now comes the fun part. So we take this beautiful piece of tofu, and what's so cool about it, it's still soft, but it's more firm now that you've gotten rid of all of the extra liquid that you don't need. So I take this and I cut it right in half. It's just going to take less than 5 minutes to put this together. The long part is the releasing of the liquid. And I like to use pretty dishes, if you haven't noticed. And that tore, but that's okay. So we're going to put this down on one of my favorite plates because we eat first with our eyes before we eat with our mouths. And then I get about, I'm notorious for never measuring, but I'd say this is about a tablespoon. And you know, if you want to put a little bit more, a little bit less, that's fine. Just spread it over there. Super easy. And then you get this nametake mushrooms. This, believe it or not, is available on Amazon. Okay? And you can put about 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup, just enough to cover it. And then what I like to do is I bring this over a little bit so that it overflows, because it looks nice when you have it layered. It's overflowing a little bit. And then you take some of this furikake, which I buy in the very industrial strength kind from Sam's Club, but you can buy a smaller bottle from Amazon, and we'll have that for you in the recipe. And you just sprinkle that over, make it look nice and yummy. And then you add the second layer. And be careful because this still is pretty fragile. We'll add some more mayo. Yum. And I have to say, every time I make this, I entertain fairly a lot. And every time I make this, without fail, people ask me, what is that? That was so good. And they're really surprised to find out that it's tofu, because most people don't like tofu. Okay, so I do the same thing. I have the mayo. Now I'm going to get some more Enoki or nametake mushrooms. Woo! And you just want to make it look pretty enough to overflow. And then a little bit more furikake. And then I like to garnish it with some green onions, just like I said, because we always eat with our eyes first before we dig in. So I get the green onions and I cut them at a diagonal so that it gives it just a little bit more makes it a little bit more interesting. It adds a little bit more intrigue to the dish, right? So that's what that looks like. There you go. And then I'm sure you've noticed, just to make things pretty, I added a little bowl of vegetables. These are pickled radish and carrots. And it's not necessary, but you know, it just makes it look more colorful and vibrant. And then one more thing I wanted to share is when I cook, I keep things that mean a lot to me. Like this cutting board, it's as old as the hills, as my mom would say. My grandpa made it. I was about right before 5 when he died. And so I keep this with me and I use it every day to keep him close. And another tip, if you don't want to spend an hour to get all of the extra liquid out of your tofu, you can wrap it in a paper towel and then you put something heavy like this that's flat and just leave it on there and it'll cut your time in about half. And the other thing I wanted to share is this old, I don't even know what you call this, but it used to have a red wooden handle. And I use this to make my cucumber pretty. You always want to make things look nice. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I had fun doing it. And until next time, aloha, bye.